The Soviet Union likes me a hell of a lot, and because I know they're going to be pitted against Germany, I'm going to go ahead and get everything with them aside from alliance and mutual defense, just so I can keep my relations with them up. This way, if it comes down to it, you know, I can get alliances with all the main allied powers and then, you know, try to use them as a way to fight against him, because this is still PvP, and even though PvE says that we can win by wiping out the allies in the Axis, the allies are still my friend and the Axis are still his friend, and these sneaky ways of building up relations could help me in the long run. Looks like his military bar has increased, and his build capacity has increased as well. Oh. He had 3 land production at the start. He's built 2 more without annexing any of his colonies or anything. Yeah, he's made 2 more land production somewhere, and I missed it while the speed was going by. Okay, so he's building more military now, that's safe to say. And in addition to building more military, he is deploying it, meaning he's very likely getting ready for an invasion of Siam. Oh, and the Hindenburg burns. The German dirigible, I don't know how to say that, the Hindenburg has been destroyed by fire in a disaster that's killed at least 33 of its 97 passengers and crew. At the time of the incidents, it was coming in for a landing at the Naval Air Station at Lakehurst, New Jersey, after its transatlantic trip from Frankfurt, Maine, whatever, Germany. Yeah.
Just a quick question. It's the merchant marines that need to land on a port, right?
Merchant marines landing craft are the only ones that do not, like regular merchant marines do need to land on a port.
Okay, but the landing craft land anywhere.
Landing craft, the LCs land anywhere. You can also build landing craft in naval designs and load non-amphibious units onto there manually anyway.
Right. I couldn't remember between the two. I got confused. I was like, okay, was that one for that one or was that one for the
LCs other one? Are landing craft and can go anywhere. If you like, you can even pull up their unit designs and check whether or not they can unload away from the dock. The Philippines love me, no doubt, because I gave them so much money earlier. I'll get all these treaties with them. It doesn't do much because they're my colony anyway, but treaties you get tend to make other countries think better of you, and you know, some of these like free trade and free flow of labor force also give you certain little bonuses as well. Not bonuses that I need right now. Also looks like the Philippines have actually taken out some debt a little bit, but they're also starting to produce units. Yeah, Marines and Recon. Oh dude, I was right. They did not have any unit designs. That's why they're pumping out Marines. I wonder, I should probably be able to improve their tech enough to actually allow them to, because how much research do they have? They have none. They have 1 slot, basically. I'm going to pump a lot of stuff into them, because they can't trade tech. Colonies can't trade. So I'm going to pump a fuck ton of tech into them, and then I'm going to give them better designs so that they could stand out more on their own and just do better in general. But it's good to see that they are finally pumping out their own units. I doubt they're making any more military production. No, of course they're not. They are making, or no, are they? I don't think they're building a whole lot of anything. They probably don't need to. Look, they're already out of debt somehow. I didn't even send them more money. They just needed it a little bit for something. I'm just going to keep throwing a lot of fucking technology at them because I'm never going to liberate them. And he's probably not going to colonize them if he invades them. Either way, I'm only going to get them up to a more modern standard, up to near 30s tech, roughly. However, they are still limited by their own non-tradables, so at the end of the day, there is only so much I can do to help them. I may not be able to give them enough. Marines may still just be the best thing they'll be able to have, which is unfortunate, but I can keep checking in on them and see what they end up researching. This is just speeding them along, essentially. And Chamberlain is now the new Prime Minister with the retirement of Stanley Baldwin, Conservative. Neville Chamberlain has become Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, pledging that another European war will not occur. That's hilarious, because that's not true. Yo, you fucking hear this shit? Chamberlain said that another European war will not occur. That's so funny. Ha ha ha.
Wait a year.
Wait a year. Looks like all the techs that I can even grant the Philippines at this point are not land-based, so there's probably some tech that the Philippines needs to research himself.
Hitler's invading Rest Czechoslovakia. It's like, hey, what do you expect?
Oh wait, motorized land forces. Okay, let's keep throwing them. We're getting somewhere. Oh, we can grant mounted infantry. Not as good as rangers. Those aren't as good as rangers. I prefer to see him make rangers, but really, anything. Anything semi... Okay, yeah, that's it. That's all we can throw at him technologically. He has to research his own technology now. Alright, well, I'll just grant him pretty much anything that I think he might be able to use land-wise, because that's all he's producing. And he'll produce the best of it, or whatever he wants to produce. And we'll check back every now and again, and hopefully the Philippines will be able to become a self-sustaining, defensive military. I mean, realistically, if they do well with their military, they will also send troops to help us if we need it. But I want them to be self-sustaining and have a defensive military so that I don't need to defend them. But I will happily throw money at them. I mean, look at my fucking amount of money. My amount of money is insane. They're taking out more debt. Why do they keep doing that? They clearly don't need it. You know, just because I have so much money, I'm going to throw like $1 billion at the Philippines. They don't need it. But I'm going to see what they do with it. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to see how it lasts. They probably won't do much with it. But again, I want them to work really, really well as their own country, and maybe just throwing money at them, which I have endless amounts of, will help with that. I can't develop myself right now, so I might as well develop my colonies. Puerto Rico, again, so small, I'm not even going to bother. The only colony I have that is worth a damn is the Philippines. I'm also going to quickly repair everything that was in Haiti, the stuff I took over, just to get it all repaired. My railway there has finished as well, which is good. I know there will be some events regarding Mexico that will pop up and basically encourage war between the two of us. And my military is very reliably growing right now, so I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to start opposing their government, building up war justification against them, letting them build it up against me, because I know there are events that will give me war justification anyway. And so maybe around when those pop up, we can go in and invade Mexico, get another land production. Don't know if I'll keep it. I probably will. They're building a fuck ton of research centers. I'm only building the one still. Mine is 81% complete. Yeah, so I'll probably just not build any more after the one that I'm building. I'll invade them and then keep whatever ones are finished, and maybe, you know, if none of them finish, maybe one or two of the ones that are still being constructed, because research is important. Everyone else is going to be rapidly increasing their research, and if I can get research centers without having to build them myself, I save a lot on inflation and I save a lot of money. But namely, inflation is the thing that I want to save out on. I started building one anyway because I didn't know how the countries I would invade would do regarding building their own research centers, and more than likely at least one is going to finish. So 2 more research centers for taking them over would be great, because that would get my research slots up to 10 after the one that I'm already building finishes. Oh, Ethiopia and Italy's war has come to an end. Roughly around the middle.
Yeah.
Looks like the US Philippines is roughly maintaining the amount of money I sent them. That's good. Their economy is so much weaker and they spend so much less in general that I could probably fund their entire nation just by throwing shit at them. Oh, so this is something you'll rarely see unless nukes are used. If you go to the very north-ass end of Alaska, you'll see there's one town up there called Prudhoe Bay. It has a population of 21, and it's so little that it produces like no supply, and it's called an abandoned town if you hover over it.
Yeah, I don't even see it.
You gotta zoom in. It's north end of Alaska, a little around the middle, a little closer to Canada than to Russia.
Oh, I see it. Damn. Build a road, hook them up. It's no wonder why there's only 21 people there. They can't get nowhere.
They don't need it. Oh, the Soviets have developed digital circuit principles. I'll go ahead and buy that from them, because I don't think we're researching that anyway. Nope. And that will help our tech going forward. Anything that I can buy, he can probably buy too, or will be able to buy. So it's important to buy anything I can to get a leg up on him. The one thing of note that he has that I don't is the electron microscope, but I am ahead of him in many other ways. Especially in military tech, even though I'm not even focusing military tech. I'm getting a very wide array of tech going. Oh, he's actually resorted to making oil coal synths because he's just that his supply is that problematic for oil. Let's open up the oil map. Yeah, it's no wonder he wants Siam. It's like the closest thing next to him that's easiest to capture that provide him with oil. Surprised he doesn't go into his colonies instead and have them make oil for him, because they have some. I don't know if he made Formosa make this. I don't know if he can force them to make oil derricks, but there's untapped oil in Manchukuo that he's not exploiting, which is interesting. I don't know if he knows he can even do that. As you can see, we're finally at the point where we've modernized basically most of our military, and now our military is just definitively growing. Our land military, that is. Everything else was basically already always growing, but our land military is now growing notably. Our land military is probably just as strong as Germany's and his start out as, and as you can see, it's only growing, and the way it is growing is fairly diverse. Also, looks like I had finished my new howitzer, but my AI seems to prefer making the gun upgrades over this. I don't know why, maybe because they're a little cheaper and the stats aren't too different, but the stats on the new howitzer are definitively better offensively, maybe not defensively, but the defensive stats of these are not really their sales point. So I'm going to force him to start making the new howitzers instead, which may result in a moment where he tries to improve our military again, but that's fine by me. The Philippines' money has still barely changed, and they're still slowly pumping out units, now a wider array, now that I've given them a wider array of designs. I could get them pumping out an entire military if I wanted to. Like, I could make them have a naval military and everything. It's just their economy is so small that and my money is so high, I could literally fund everything that I want from them if I wanted to. Although, the more stress I put on their economy, the worse it could get. Looks like they're pumping out 2 research centers now. They're gonna put more stress on their economy just by doing shit like that. Dun dun.
Dun 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 dun.
Dun 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 dun.
Although my military is being stupid, all my ships want to keep freaking going back.
Take away the AI control until you're ready to make them land. The AI is going to constantly want to put them in a place where your priorities are, where he can make them defensible. Just either turn off the AI control or go into your ROE, remove the ability for the theater AI to command him, to like give him orders, and also remove initiative, and then they'll stay put and then give it back once you've landed and your war is actually started. The thing with the Philippines is that if I militarize them and then they become unsustainable, I can't undo it, right? I can't fix them if I do that. So I'm afraid to militarize them too much, but it does stand that I could potentially make them a self-sufficient island with military production that could give them a little navy, a little air force, and a large enough land force. And I am really tempted to do that, to give them a total of like 3 land productions maybe. Like give them an air production and a naval production. I'm going to do this slowly, a little more progressively maybe. I'm going to give them another land production. Oh, looks like they're also building agriculture, so they are looking out for their own needs. That's good. You know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to do this progressively. I'm going to do it like a little bit all at once, and I'm going to just fund them through it. So I'm going to make them build 2 more land productions for a total of 3. I'm going to make them build a naval production over here by Manila, of which now I will probably need to provide them with naval designs. I only need to really provide them with the best one they could need, so the Colorado, just, yeah, literally the better ones that I can give them is what I will give them, and they can produce with that. Same thing with air. I want to give them some air designs as well. They don't have many options, but because of their tech. But I'll also just throw a bunch more money at them so that they can afford to do everything I'm telling them to do. I don't need to worry too much about how much money I throw at them. It's going to be very easy to do it. I'll just throw another 3 bill at them and all these designs. They'll start making a good amount of production. I'll also give them an air production, which is going to go right here, along with a new air base, as I expected. So 3 land productions, an air, and a naval. And that's how I'm going to leave them for right now. This is how I was building stuff in like the Muslim playthrough. This is how I built little islands or states or independent hubs. I don't want them to become like a dominant power or anything. They're still just a colony. But I want them to function like a self-sufficient state. Although this amount of production will already make them have some of the highest military production in the world. And money's not an issue. Really, the issue is inflation for me. I could expand myself, but you know, I'd need an economy that supports raising my inflation some more. Oh, sounds like the war's starting.
You may save.
Oh, okay. And the world's coming to me to buy oil. And Iraq had another coup d'etat. What a surprise. I don't care too much about the inflation or the economy of the Philippines. It's not me, so I don't care. They can fuck it up as much as they want. I will just throw money at them and make them quite a force to be reckoned with. That's the beauty of colonies. I can develop them as I wish. And they still send me all excess of military goods that they get, and that's the best part. Oh, so I have a question, Shibi.
Yeah, go for it.
Did you actually condemn my war with Haiti?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Declare war on me. Or, like, damn it.
I'll condemn this then.
Go for it.
How dare you! I'm returning diplomatic slaps. Maybe you'll be friendlier in the future. Well, he has declared war on Siam, and he's landed some amphibious units in a small village to the south. He's proceeding without much resistance, and he's not going to get much resistance. He's now also landed on the port. Yeah, their military approval rating was already down by half, so he was probably funding insurgency from the get-go. Their military production is low. Their amount of garrisons, like they probably don't even have any garrisons placed. He's probably going to conquer all of Siam with little to no issue. Oh look, here's my war with Haiti. I lost 169 troops. I killed 7 units. I lost 0. So far, Siam is only losing. Hey, but his casualties have almost matched mine so far. This is a much larger country and a much larger war than my war with Haiti. Of course, Siam doesn't stand a fucking chance. It's interesting, though, because he's going to be in between all these colonies that have literally nothing defending him or them. And so, if he actually wanted to take these over, Siam is the perfect place for him to do this from. And so it's really interesting that he is doing this then. Wow, everyone wants to buy agriculture from me now for pretty good prices. I don't know if he realizes the strategical importance of what he is doing, but the European powers are not going to defend their lands from him over here. But what's really interesting is that he's not going after China. I don't know if he will go after China. They're not building up militarily because they're not threatened, but they will still build up over time due to their already massive land production capacity. They have one of the highest land productions in the world, currently matching Germany, matching Italy, one of the highest in the world. Yeah, they're tied for second place with 2 other countries.
Now just gotta wait for supplies to come in.
Yeah, and your supplies will definitely come in since you got the, well, that's a C tier, but your towns that you're getting and other complexes will provide it. Supply trucks are a lot more common in this setting than modern day, though, so you shouldn't have too much of a problem with it. That military complex in Seaport will certainly help. Oh man, look at his military bar. It's as high as mine.
Set it to the AI, and now they're all fucking leaving again.
Yeah, because you probably left your, like, homeland undefended. He's probably terrified out of his ass. Make sure to set battle zone and theater priorities in that region to try to get them to stay. Like, set the theater to medium or high. Set a battle zone or 2 to medium or high. Otherwise, micro them just moving forward. If you have the priority set and they're still trying to leave, then micro is definitely what you want to do. Or even get rid of the ability for the AI initiative under your minister. Like, get rid of that, but leave the units with their own initiative. Because I believe the units will still just duke it out without changing theaters. Because I believe it is the minister level AI that allows your units to change theaters. Experiment with it, with the unit initiative. Experiment with the initiative for the minister AI. And eventually you'll find situations that work for you. You'll make it work. The fact that his military bar, when he goes to war, gets that high as mine, now almost as high as mine, goes to show you that we are pretty evenly matched right now. Again, his land force started out much more powerful than mine. Yeah, look, my my AI is now that I got rid of that old artillery, is now redoing all the artillery with the new howitzer. I'm fine with that. So it's not going to grow anymore just yet, but that's fine. Better rather than more. Hey, without me doing anything, inflation's starting to go down again. I hope to God it finally really goes down, because I've been waiting this whole time. That's why I've been pouring money into making the Philippines independent hub. They seem to be doing really, really well with the money I sent them already. They won't become a naval military power because they're only going to have one naval production. It takes like a year to make a single capital ship. Their air force will be minuscule, but I only want it to be defensive. Their land force is what I'd want to be larger, so that they can maintain a full defensive force for their entire set of islands, and even deploy to help me in the region, should it come down to that. And I am willing to completely fund them in doing that. Doing this with your bigger colonies, especially with someone like British India or even Manchukuo, you know, you can make something work here. Especially when they're bigger but still a little smaller, and that you can maintain their treasuries. Like, UK may not be able to maintain British India's treasury, but I can certainly maintain the US Philippines treasury. I only wish I had more large colonies to do this with. Most of my other colonies are just really, really tiny and can't even maintain themselves. Hell, I might as well just throw some money into them so that they can maintain themselves. Like, give them $1 billion each. Even that's excessive, but it will allow them to maintain their population so that they're not bleeding populations. They've certainly been bleeding population for a while, but I'll stop them from bleeding any more population and maybe just annex them later. $1 billion is more than enough for them. Like, the Philippines is doing well enough. Okay, now I'm confused on if I just sent $1 billion to Panama or my canal zone. Let's make sure Puerto Rico gets $1 billion as well. Okay, I accidentally gave Panama $1 billion. That's an oopsie mistake. Oh well, my bad. Now we'll give $1 billion to the US canal zone. You're welcome, Panama. That's a gift from one democracy to another, I guess. At least Panama likes me more as a result, because I don't want them to attack, you know, the US canal zone or anything. But I could use the US canal zone to invade them should I want to, technically speaking. I think I might have missed, yes, I did miss US Samoa. Let's give them $1 billion as well. And that should be all of my colonies getting a nice little stimulus package. His slow push up the Siamese Peninsula. Like, am I using the correct geographical terms here? I don't know, but it is proceeding. He's definitely pulling it off. Let's check. I can't see what's really happening, but I can check what's happening here. He's killed 10 units and lost none. I'm sure he's killed a lot of garrisons, but that means he's winning without much casualties. His actual damage inflicted, his casualties have now exceeded mine, but he hasn't lost any units, so this war is going very well for him, even if it is going a little slowly. So this is going to be a cakewalk of a war for him, as we can see, as his technology and numbers are just going to be too good. Since he did declare war, though, his treaty integrity is down to 66.7%, and that's going to hurt his immigration as well. It's going to hurt mine every time I declare war, so my population won't rise as naturally as a regular USAI would, but I think his population... Oh, it's still going up. It might be going up because he's taking over land, though. But his immigration situation is a lot worse now. Yeah, I see. He's still gaining like 600,000 in births. Again, that may just be statistics from taking over population, but it'll be hurt in the long run. Although he is going to take over literally over a dozen million, like 14 million total probably, maybe 15. I forget the total Siam had before he started taking land. But just like that, a gigantic boost, like more than I've gotten from growing and from taking over Haiti since the start of this game. You know, I'm tempted. US Puerto Rico is big enough that I could at least make them have one land production. Maybe not, you know, the full set of stuff that I'm giving the Philippines to do, but I could get them up to at least that point. I just probably want to throw a whole bunch of technology at them first and then see what I can give them. Probably a similar amount of stuff. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's start throwing technology at US Puerto Rico. And then maybe I can get them a single land production. If I do, I literally have to make a barracks for them because they don't have a single barracks on their island. They're not the largest, but I mean, compare their size, they're almost as large as New Zealand, right? They don't have as many resources and they're more reliant on me for money. Their domestics are doing good too. Their population is growing. If I support them, I could make them a little independent. I could just also annex them at some point. That is an option. But that's a hit to my treaty integrity that I don't need to take and don't want to take unless there's something that they have to offer me specifically. They have barely any resources. The only thing they could really offer me is their strategic location and their population. That's pretty much it. Ooh, that's not good.
That's not good.
We got a multiplayer sync error. If we see it pop up again the next day, we're going to want to reload the most recent autosave. Or the second most recent. Because there's a chance, like a small chance every time you save, that you can get these little sync errors popping up. And what probably happened is that a autosave happened then, and it might have caused it. Let's see if it happens again. Yes, okay, we need to reload this. I once played, well, twice, I've played games with multiplayer sync errors going, and the longer they go on, the more desynced everything gets, to the point where, like, you can see, for example, you might see my troops just fucking, like, you could see my entire military running across the Pacific, landing in China, running across it all the way to Germany, even though nothing like that is happening. We can both see countries existing differently on the map, like the longer you let that go. So it's something you have to see, deal with every time you see it. I'm running around and just gathering all the friendship treaties and all the treaties that I can with my colonies. Technically, none of them have the capability of saying no to me. Oh, this is also before I sent money to the US Samoa. Let me go ahead and do that. None of them can say no to me, but I don't want to force my will on them because that can actually make them like me less. So I'll go one at a time and just get what I can with them, send them more money if they need it. I want to treat them well. Namely, I want to treat the larger ones like Puerto Rico and especially the Philippines well. Puerto Rico, again, is going to be pretty insignificant, but I will still give them a military production. Just so they can defend their own little island, probably. I like the idea of that anyway. So far, he's killed 43 units. Lost none. He's had some population loss, but it's really rather insignificant. So far, this is a very easy war from him. He's already marching on their capital. Even, they got world market advisors, so the world market knows he's in the wrong for this. But it's not going to stop him. He's going to take it over. And there's nobody around that will intervene, and nobody that really could intervene. He doesn't even border China by doing this war, so shrug. It's nice to see China's military slowly growing. It's still not that great of a military. Relies on elite guard. Elite guard are nice. They're like nerfed versions of my Rangers. Overall, they're getting more units made with their 7 land production. It's bound to go pretty quickly. Now, unfortunately, with this war over and he claims all their military production, he will have 7 land production as well. His entire military production is going to rise rapidly in the world. He's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, number 6 in terms of total military production, and this war is going to get him a lot higher up. A lot higher up. So this is pretty big deal. There you go. He just took their capital. Oh boy. He's going to get a lot more population. He's going to get more military production. He's going to get access to more resources. This is the perfect thing for him. And, like, not a very good thing for us. Hell, the land amount of this is equivalent to, like, taking over Korea. So this is a pretty big deal for him. It brings him closer to being able to take on China, should he want to take on China, or anyone else that he wants to. Because, I mean, yeah, he might even go for the Soviets. The Soviets' production isn't as good. But the Soviets are going to be focused on Germany. So if he attacked the Soviets from the east after 1941... I feel like they'd actually be a pretty easy target for him. Luckily, China has more than enough money to sustain themselves. They are growing in population. Their inflation is at a good rate. So they're doing pretty well as a country so far. Hopefully they blossom and grow, because they are going to remain our biggest check in the region against him. And this is why I'm growing the Philippines into at least being a little bit of a power with a little bit of everything. Just, you know, a little bit of air, a little bit of naval, and a good bit of land production, which is starting to finish now, because after China, you know, Russia's going to be distracted. I need someone else to serve as a check. And Philippines may still be part of my country, but essentially, he's probably going to want to take it over. Like, if we go to war together, I feel like this would be his first target, because this is a pretty strategically important place in the region, especially next to him. But if I build it up in such a way that I don't have to directly control or maintain it, and then it still gets defended off of somebody else's tax income in a more efficient way, and without me having to worry about the inflation, that's even better. My Philippines is doing very well monetarily. They're growing in everything. Oh, and there goes Siam.